couple discovers a lost civilization in their old freezer, where time moves 1,000 times faster. An American couple, Gail and Rob, are just moving into their new home and trying to put things together. As they settle in with their luggage, they notice an old freezer that the landlord left behind. Rob wonders why someone would still keep such an antique freezer in this modern age. However, he finds the old-timey freezer unique. Compared to the modern-day freezers where you see the motors underneath, Rob says these antique ones have theirs at the top, where hot air rises into the fridge and is later pumped out by the same motor that produced it. Gail isn't paying much attention, but subtly nods in agreement with what Rob said. Just then, she brings out a bottle of wine to celebrate their new apartment, but Rob feels they need something chilled. So, he opens the fridge to get some ice. As the couple sit to have a drink, they make a toast to a good life and all the fun they plan to have together in their new home. When Rob is about to sip his drink, he notices something extraordinary inside the ice cube. Doubtful of what he has seen, he passes it to Gail to take a look and tell him what she sees. Before giving her take of the view, Gail goes to bring a pair of magnifying glasses to get a closer look. To their surprise, they see a tiny, preserved mammoth thrust with spears inside the ice cube. Due to this mysterious discovery, they go to check the freezer to see what things are hiding there. After breaking off the ice cloaked all over the fridge, they uncover more intriguing secrets to their wildest imagination. The couple witness the evolution of world civilization from the medieval era. In this world, everything moves quickly. With the discovery of the mammoth, Gail finds this era insensible. She emphasizes that woolly mammoths had gone extinct in the late Neolithic period, making it a dead era and not worth saving. Rob skeptically nods in agreement to hide his ignorance. The couple manage to bury the tiny creature in a flower vase, believing it will turn out to be some kind of manure for the flowers to grow. Curious to know more, they go to check the freezer again, and surprisingly, everything has changed. What used to be a medieval city is currently a modernized spot during the Industrial Revolution. Processing plants and rail lines are fabricated, covering the fridge's sky with smoke. The couple notes that they've only been away for 10 minutes, but many years have proactively gone by for the tiny individuals. With this, Gail speculates that time moves diversely inside the freezer. Seeing how the Industrial Revolution moves at extraordinary speed, Rob is frustrated that they missed the Renaissance period. He sees two tiny men sitting by a structure under development and contemplates whether the tiny people consider them gods. Instead, the men are mocking them as odd faces in the sky that are gazing at the city.
Look at these two douchebags staring at us all day.
I don't know. I'm tired of looking at that broccoli in her teeth.
Seconds after the fact, modernized structures are raised. Rob sees things zooming around, and Gail recognizes them as airplanes. Seeing the rapid emergence of more high-rise buildings, Gail is convinced that the tiny people have outstretched to the present era. Rob affirms this when he sees a Starbucks shop and observes that the cafe bar is spread around everywhere. Somehow, he perceives something odd, so he decides to get a clear view. All of a sudden, a rocket falls in the center of the city and detonates. It hits Rob's face, causing him to move back and fall to the ground. Gail helps Rob to get back on his feet, asking him to stay calm. Rob protests as to why he should be calm when a strategic nuclear warhead is going on in their freezer. Notwithstanding, Rob's face is pretty much as red as a tomato, and Gail can barely keep a mean face. As the freezer detonates with immense atomic bombs, Gail hands a sparkly toaster to Rob, allowing him to have a view of how the intensity of the blast made his face shine red. Rob whimpers. However, at that point, he sees what is going on in the freezer just turn out to be more serious. The pair gazes at it as they hear shouts, gun firing, and blasts. With this, Gail shuts the freezer and says that the individuals couldn't in any way overcome war in a short time. Hearing this, Rob asks what they ought to do, and Gail answers that they ought to arrange for pizza. After an hour, while Gail attends to some house chores, Rob sits to eat his pizza. However, he never stopped wondering what the situation in the freezer could be. Maybe they didn't make it or they outgrew the war. Gail walks up to him and gently tells him that they need to accept the possibility that they didn't make it. Eager to know how it ended, Rob goes to the fridge and opens it. Shockingly, the fridge gleams with glowing city lights and high-level flying cars. Gale claims that it seems to be the Emerald, but with not so much emerald, but rather more advanced gadgets. Seeing this makes Rob overjoyed as to how attractive everything is. Unexpectedly, a structure arises directly before them, and Rob jokes that it seems to be a grown-up toy. All at once, everything grows rapidly, and a huge pyramid shows up in the center of the modern city. It shines luminously and consumes power from the extensions joined to it. Ultimately, it transforms into a diamond-shaped crystal and consumes the entire city until it blasts into a bundle of energy. The grand energy detonates like stars, and streaks of light start to race around Gale and Rob's scullery, filling their home with glowing light. The luminous light intrigues them both. During this, it appears the miniature people have sorted out the key to reality and space travel. The couple enjoy every bit of the moment and wish it never stops. After this, the streaks of light assemble back to the freezer, accumulate into a circle, and vanish. This takes away the grin on their face, confused at what they recently saw. Rob ponders whether the tiny people will at any point return, yet Gale believes it's impossible. Along these lines, Rob sadly pulls the fridge's cable from the electric socket, as though he's concluding that those mini people will never return. Realizing that Rob has developed fun with those tiny people, Gale hugs him in solace. She then shuts the freezer and they go to bed, with plans to clean it up in the morning. The next day, Gale and Rob are awake and about to have their breakfast, but turn a look at the antique freezer. Hoping to see something exciting, they open the now defrosted freezer, and again, life has found a way to flourish once more, but this time, everything has returned to the medieval period. Without the coldness of the freezer, dinosaurs now wander the insides of the defrosted freezer. A set of early humans are seen eating the carcass of a dead Brachiosaurus. The human creatures run and hide for their lives as another dinosaur chases to eat them. Now, let's talk about the true meaning of this movie. The movie shows a clear picture of how far humans have come. From the 6th to the 14th century till now, humans have always strived to make the world a better place for their kind and nature at large. With good infrastructure, reliable means of transportation, and the creation of industries for easy workflow and conversion of our natural resources. Though often plagued with war and natural disasters, mankind has, however, managed to come out victoriously. Despite the daunting odds, humans of great intelligence still work hard to get through this phase of technology to the more advanced era where we can have flying cars and live like super beings. But sadly, we all die someday. However, the world won't end, as there will still be people inhabiting this place of residence forever. Let me know what you think about this video by dropping your comments and reactions below. And please, don't forget to like and subscribe.